realistically, I want to wait to have kids until we figure out how Neuralink or other, what's called brain-computer interfaces, so other ways for brains to interlink with a computer until they start working. So there's a few reasons for this. First is, in your first 7 years of life, your brain is more neuroplastic than at any other point in your life, by an order of magnitude. I think when we get Neuralink and we get these other technologies, kids who are born with them are going to learn how to use them in crazy ways. It'll be actually a part of their brain in a way that it'll never be true for an adult who gets a Neuralink or whatever hooked into their brain. And so what we need at some point is the ability to tap into AI ourselves. And so eventually, I think we're going to need some interlink or hookup between our brains directly to AI and the internet and all these things. And it is potentially dangerous and it's potentially, to your point, terrifying and scary, but we just are going to have to do it. AI is going to go like this. Humans are going to improve at a much slower rate, and we're going to need to hook into that capability. I talked to a lot of scientists in this space and a lot of people working on this stuff, including the folks at Neuralink, and mind reading and mind control are that is where the technology will go over time, right? And so, like any advanced technology, we have to knock that up. But it's going to be pretty critical if we want humans to remain relevant as AI keeps.
So that guy that you just watched, his name is Alexander Wang, and he is the CEO of Scale AI, and he is a 24-year-old who is a billionaire. And he was on the Sean Ryan podcast, and he's talking about how it's only going to be natural to get hooked up to something like Neuralink. He's like, we need to adapt and we need to have the capability to tap into artificial intelligence. But one of the things that he mentions in this podcast is mind reading and mind control. And he goes on to say that this is where we are going. And so it's interesting because when they say these things, they already know that they exist, because Apple recently came out and said that, hey, we're going to introduce something like that to have a BCI brain-computer interface where they will be able to connect your brain waves to your phone so that you can control your phone just by using your mind. And so when somebody like this, who is at the top tier in AI, says these kind of things, it lets you and I know that they already know what's coming. And so this is fascinating because this used to sound very science fiction, but now it's becoming more and more natural to be used in conversations, and this is crazy. But I also don't want you to lose sight of the fact that the whole conversation about tapping into AI by connecting your brain to it, by using something like Neuralink, I don't want you to lose sight of how common that is now sounding in our world today. It's just like another day. You hear it now and you're just like, oh, okay. And so what we're doing, or what's being done to us when we hear these types of things and we listen to these type of conversations, is we are becoming desensitized to it. And I'm a born again believer, and so even it happens to me, I just hear it and I'm just like, oh, another video. But I want you to understand that that's terrifying, because I want you to think about the children who are growing up who have no idea about any of the things that you and I know about. But think about them, because they are going to be born, or they're already born, they could be 6 years old at this time or 7 years old. And when they get older, they're going to be being raised in an environment where this type of stuff is very normal. And if this type of stuff is very normal to them, then what about their children? Because you just see where this is trending towards, and it's just absolutely crazy. So when you start talking about the mark of the beast and you're like, what's that going to be? What's it going to look like? It makes a little bit more sense because everybody's becoming desensitized to these types of conversations. And so when they get the mark of the beast during the tribulation, the great tribulation, people are going to do it because it's going to be very convenient. It is going to be under the umbrella of, this is the new thing, everybody is doing it. It'll be very beneficial. All of your stuff will be all in one place, and you'll be able to tap into AI just by using your brain. And that is crazy. And then you have this young man right here. He's talking about how he's in charge of AI, and because he's in charge of AI, this company, he knows a lot of things that we don't know. And even he is saying that he is going to wait to have children until because when he has children, he's going to get them right on it. And so it's crazy to think that this generation, which he's 24 or so, he is going to get his kids in it. He's like, this is obviously, and because he's like, it's a no-brainer. Of course I'm going to do that, because their brains are going to be able to adapt to it, unlike how our brains can. And so they'll be better at whatever, and they'll conform to AI a lot better than what we will, because their brains operate differently than ours do. And so this is terrifying, hearing his generation, which is, again, 24, 25 years old, and he is very influential. He's influencing many, many younger people, and if he does it, then all the other people that see him and look up to him, they're going to do it because he's doing it, and if he's doing it, then it might as well be safe, and all of those natural logical reasonings that people are going to fall in line with. And it's just wild to see what's happening, guys.